Have you ever reached the end of the day and thought, where did the time go? You meant to take that walk, call a friend, maybe finally read that book that's been sitting on your nightstand for months, but somehow the hours slipped away. It's not that you were lazy or unmotivated, you were probably busy the entire time. But being busy doesn't always mean being fulfilled. And it certainly doesn't always mean you're moving toward the life you want. That feeling of time passing without purpose can be frustrating, especially as we get older and start to think more deeply about how we want to spend the rest of our years. But here's the good news. It's never too late to take control of your time. And when you do, something incredible happens. You begin to live with more clarity, more peace, more joy. In this video, we're going to have a heart-to-heart conversation about how to use your time in a way that brings you meaning. Not more pressure, not more tasks on your to-do list, just more of what truly matters to you. We'll talk about how to value your time, set clear goals, prioritize what's important, and let go of what isn't. Whether you're newly retired, thinking about a second act, or just tired of feeling scattered, this message is for you. Let's begin with something simple but powerful: learning to truly value your time. When you start to understand the real value of your time, not just as something you fill, but something you invest, it shifts the way you live. Every moment becomes an opportunity, a chance to reflect, to grow, to connect, or simply to rest with intention. Think of your time like a beautiful piece of art. Once you use a moment, it's painted forever. You can't take the brush back, but you can choose every stroke from now on. Valuing your time doesn't mean you fill every second with tasks. It means you start protecting your time like it matters, because it does. That might mean saying no to something that drains you, or it might mean saying yes to something you've always wanted to do but never made space for. It's not about doing more. It's about doing what matters. And that brings us to another essential idea: having a clear sense of direction. Without goals, clear, personal, meaningful goals, it's easy to drift. Days blend into each other. Weeks disappear. And before long, you're asking yourself why you feel unsatisfied even when life seems full. But when you define what truly matters to you, what you want to experience, contribute, or become, you give your time a purpose. It doesn't have to be a huge, dramatic goal like writing a novel or running a marathon, though it can be. It might be as simple as maintaining your health so you can travel with your grandkids, or finally starting that garden you've dreamed about for years, or calling your siblings every Sunday just to reconnect. Goals give you direction. And direction gives your time meaning. When you write your goals down, and yes, actually write them down, they become real. They're not just passing thoughts anymore. They become something you can shape, step by step. And when your time serves your goals, even small tasks take on new importance. Once you know what matters, the next step is figuring out how to use your time in service of those things. That means learning how to prioritize. Let's face it, life is noisy. There's always something pulling at your attention. Errands, phone calls, emails, TV, social media, interruptions from every direction. And it's easy to spend your day putting out fires instead of building something meaningful. But when you pause and ask yourself, is this moving me toward what I really want? That's when things start to shift. Prioritizing means choosing what gets your energy. Not everything needs to be done today. Not every request deserves a yes. And sometimes prioritizing means choosing rest or joy over checking another box. Because those things matter too. When you start your day with intention, deciding what truly needs to be done versus what can wait, you feel more in control. You end the day with a sense of progress instead of depletion. It might help to think of your day in layers. What's essential? What supports your well-being? What's nice but not urgent? Build from the center outward. Protect the core. That's where your most important time belongs. Now here's something that might surprise you. One of the biggest shifts in learning to manage your time well is letting go of the idea that you have to do everything yourself. Especially for those of us who grew up valuing independence, it can feel unnatural to ask for help. But learning to delegate, or even just to share tasks, is a powerful way to take back your time. You don't have to be the one to organize the whole family dinner, or handle every household chore, or research every new insurance plan. Sometimes it's as simple as asking a family member to pick something up for you, or hiring a bit of help if it's within your means. Delegating isn't about weakness, it's about wisdom. It says, I'm choosing to spend my time where it matters most. And as you free up more time, you also begin to notice how often it's been quietly slipping through your fingers. Those moments lost to distractions, like scrolling without thinking, rehashing the past, or overcommitting out of guilt, start to stand out more clearly. And rather than feeling bad about it, you start feeling empowered. Because now you see it. And once you see it, you can change it. What comes next is one of the most gentle yet powerful habits of all. One that helps you enjoy your time, not just manage it. It's not about speed or schedules. It's about presence. Let's talk about what that really means. Being present isn't some mystical idea. It's simply the act of being fully here, in this moment. When you're making a cup of tea, you're just making tea. Not worrying about tomorrow's appointment or rethinking yesterday's conversation. When you're sitting with a friend or grandchild, you're truly listening, not half thinking about your to-do list. This kind of mindful awareness allows time to stretch. You'll notice more, enjoy more, and strangely, get more done. Not by hurrying, but by focusing. The truth is, we waste more time multitasking than we realize. We think we're being productive, juggling emails while cooking, or flipping between news and cleaning the house. But the brain doesn't work well that way. It switches back and forth, losing time and focus with every shift. And by the end of the day, we're exhausted. Not because we did so much, but because we never gave our full attention to anything. Mindfulness, doing one thing at a time with your full awareness, changes that. You can start small. Next time you eat, slow down. Really taste your food. When you go for a walk, leave your phone behind and notice the feel of the breeze, the sound of your feet on the pavement. These small practices create space in your mind and soul. They're not just peaceful, they're powerful. Because when your mind is clear, you make better decisions. You feel less scattered. And you naturally use your time with more care. This kind of presence also helps you recognize the people and habits that quietly drain your time and energy. It's easier to see what feels heavy and what brings light. Let's talk about that for a moment, because eliminating time wasters is one of the kindest things you can do for yourself. Now, when people hear time wasters, they often think of big things: social media, TV binges, endless scrolling. And yes, those can be a problem, especially when done without purpose or awareness. But the sneakiest time wasters are the ones that feel productive but don't move you forward. The overlong phone call with someone who complains nonstop. The meeting that could have been an email. The yes you say to something you don't really want to do. The problem isn't the activity, it's the cost. What are you giving up to make space for those things? Sometimes it's rest. Sometimes it's your own goals. Sometimes it's just peace of mind. Eliminating time wasters isn't about cutting out joy or pleasure. It's about protecting what matters. You don't have to quit everything. You just need to bring awareness to what you're doing and why. Ask yourself gently, is this adding to my life or pulling from it? And if it's pulling, you have the right to say no, with no guilt, no apology, just clarity. And while we're here, let's be honest about one more thing that wastes more time than anything else: procrastination. We've all done it, putting things off, waiting for the right moment, letting fear or perfectionism hold us back. But procrastination doesn't make hard things easier. It makes them bigger in your mind, heavier. And the longer you wait, the more energy it takes to get started. The solution isn't to shame yourself. It's to break things down. Start so small it feels silly. Want to organize your photos? Don't do all of them. Just open the folder. Want to clean out a drawer? Set a timer for 10 minutes? That's it. The magic is in the momentum. Once you begin, your brain stops fighting and your heart starts cheering. And that, my friend, is how progress happens. Let's return to something that might feel like a secret superpower: knowing when to ask for help. We touched on this earlier, but it's worth digging deeper. Many people in their 60s and 70s grew up with a strong sense of responsibility. You took care of others. You managed the home, the job, the bills. You did it all. So now asking for help might feel foreign, or even like failure. But it's not. It's wisdom. Delegating or sharing tasks is one of the best ways to protect your energy and stay focused on what matters. Maybe it's asking your adult child to handle some online paperwork for you. Maybe it's hiring someone to help with yard work or errands. Maybe it's saying to your spouse, "Can you cook tonight? I need a little break." These aren't signs of weakness. They're signs of balance. And it's not just about chores or errands. Sometimes delegation means emotional support. Saying to a friend, "Can I talk something through with you?" Or letting someone offer you help without brushing it off with, "I'm fine." Giving and receiving support is part of staying healthy, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. And let's not forget that delegation can be joyful. It invites others to feel useful and involved. It creates opportunities for connection. And it frees you up for the things that only you can do, like sharing your wisdom, pursuing your interests, and investing in your well-being. As we wrap up this section of our conversation, think about this. Time isn't something you manage with clocks or calendars. It's something you honor by giving your attention, energy, and love to the people and moments that matter most. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Just begin. Choose one small habit that helps you treat your time with care. It might be waking up 15 minutes earlier to stretch and breathe. It might be finally writing down that dream you've been carrying for years. It might be letting go of an obligation that doesn't serve you anymore. Whatever it is, start there. Because your time is a gift. And how you use it is the story of your life. That's why learning to manage your time isn't just about being productive. It's about honoring your values, your desires, and the life you still want to create. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is by returning to the present moment again and again. You see, when you stop rushing and start noticing, life feels different. The little things, a warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a neighbor, a quiet afternoon, become the big things. You begin to see joy not as something far away, but as something waiting in the simplicity of now. And that clarity gives your time new meaning. Being mindful doesn't mean being perfect. You'll still forget things. You'll still get distracted or overwhelmed. But it's what you return to that matters. Mindfulness is like a gentle reminder. Come back. Be here. This moment counts. And when you treat each moment as something valuable, something that matters, you also start to show up for your own life in a deeper way. You stop measuring your days by what you got done and start measuring them by how they felt, how connected you were, how true to yourself you stayed, how much peace you found. This mindset can shape every part of your day. Instead of rushing through breakfast, you take a few extra seconds to savor each bite. Instead of checking your phone while watching TV, you choose one or the other and enjoy it fully. Instead of filling every moment with tasks, you create space to just be. That space is where your spirit breathes, where you heal, where you hear your own thoughts again. And this isn't just about feeling better, it actually helps you do better. When your mind is calm and clear, decisions come easier. You get less stuck. You become more intentional about how you spend your hours. You stop chasing things that don't matter and start choosing what does. Now, let's bring it all together. You've learned that time is not just a tool, it's a treasure. When you value your time, you stop giving it away to people or problems that drain you. You start protecting it, guarding it, respecting it. You've learned that goals don't have to be grand to be meaningful. They just have to be yours. When you set clear goals, even small ones, you create direction. You turn your time into something that builds, step by step, toward a life you're proud of. You've seen how prioritizing gives your energy a purpose. That by choosing what matters most, you stop letting the urgent steal from the important. You simplify your days and reclaim your focus. You've looked at the small habits and choices that steal your time, scrolling, overthinking, procrastinating, and started asking, is this really serving me? You've learned how to gently say no to others and to yourself when needed. Not out of guilt, but out of love. You've rediscovered the quiet power of delegation. That asking for help doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise. That letting go of doing it all is what gives you the space to be you again. And through it all, you've practiced mindfulness, not as some big lifestyle overhaul, but as a quiet shift. A soft turning toward the present. A commitment to being here, really here, for the life that's still unfolding. So where do you go from here? You start living it. One mindful choice at a time. Maybe you sit down tonight and write out one goal that still lights a spark in your heart. Maybe tomorrow, you set aside 5 minutes to do absolutely nothing. Just breathe and notice the world around you. Maybe this week, you delegate a task that's been weighing on you. Maybe this month, you block out time each morning to focus on what matters before the day rushes in. Whatever your next step is, know this. It's enough. You don't have to change everything. You just have to begin. And here's the truth, dear friend. This chapter of your life is still yours to write. You have wisdom, experience, and courage that no one else has. You've been through storms and still stood strong. You've loved and lost and laughed again. You know what matters. And now, you get to spend your time living in alignment with that truth. Your time is not behind you. It's right here in front of you. Every morning is another chance to choose how you live, who you become, and what legacy you leave. And that is a beautiful, powerful thing. So honor your time. Use it wisely. Use it kindly. Use it in ways that lift your heart and light your path. Because when you do, you don't just manage time. You create a life filled with purpose, peace, and joy. If this message resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. What's one small change you're going to make with your time starting today? Let's support each other. This community is filled with people just like you, ready to live with more intention. And if you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. We've got so many more conversations to come, encouraging, practical, and made with care just for you. Here's to living fully, no matter your age. Here's to making the most of every moment. And here's to you, still growing, still shining, still making your precious time count. Take good care, and thank you for spending yours with me today.